Hi everybody, welcome to round 8 of the online British Championships. And so it's the second last round, and in the lead are two people.
Shall I share my screen?
Share your screen, yes. Why don't you do that?
Do that. Whack, there we are.
Ooh.
Indeed. So
we've got lots of pictures of us now.
Oh, good Lord. Sorry, I've shared my screen, and yeah, sorry, I'll have that one there. That was just to keep an eye on the chat.
Yes.
So okay, there we are. So yeah, you take it away, Natasha.
Yeah, sure. So in the lead at the moment with 5.5 out of 7 is Gerasimos Giatros and Grandmaster Keith Arkle. And so they are going to be playing on board 1 tonight. And then following very closely behind, we have Grandmaster Michael Adams, FIDE Master Jonathan Blackburn, the Welsh online champion. We have Grandmaster Bogdan Lalic, and we have, Candidate Master.
That's
Paul
right.
Darby. Am I right with that? Then who is he's our C3 Sicilian player, but he's black today, so we won't get that. We've then got in the next just Ollie Stubbs on 4.5, and then a whole load of people on 4. So Peter Finn, Edson Zhu, Yichin Han, both juniors, Drunken Knight, Ayan Ishmael Mohammed. We have Freddie Gordon, Robert Starley, and Schlock Verma, another junior player, and a lot more good games as well. One funny thing, I was just, you know, we've been talking throughout the event on how much chess some of the juniors are playing, because they're playing in the junior events here, and some of the girl players are playing in the women's as well. I looked on to the, is it like the World Rapid Championships that are happening right now? And the first names that jumped out of me were some more of the names we're very familiar with here. So we saw Theo Cowrie and Frederick the Mate, and also, who did I see? Queens and Pawns, Jude Shearsby was on 2 out of 2. Imogen Dyson. So big good luck to all of those in their battle to win the World Championships.
Fantastic. Wow, what a lot of chess these juniors are playing. It's
they will be so strong after this week. You gotta, if you haven't played them yet, then you may be too late to get your wins off these juniors.
Let's have a look.
Not you personally, Matthew. That was a you in general.
Let's have a look, because it has started.
Okay.
So I have now switched to the screen. Let's just have a look how that looks. I can probably make it bigger, can't I? Whack. And hopefully that will look a bit better. Okay. So waiting for Gerasimos Giatros to make the first move against Keith Arkle. So, but Mickey Adams against Gunslinger, it's already full of action. So let's have a look.
Ooh, yes.
E4, E6, D4, D5, knight D2, knight C6. It's funny, you know, I've played virtually every single third move in the French Tarrasch against 3 knight D2, but knight C6 is more or less the only one I haven't played.
Okay.
It's a bit dodgy, but also not so bad.
Dodgy. Hi, yeah. Kevin Winter. Hi, Raylin.
Hey, everyone. Hi, Kevin. Hi, Raylin. So knight F3, knight F6, E5, knight D7. There's many ways of playing this. C3 is one move, but bishop B5 is a pretty common one. And I think the idea normally here is to take on C6 and then to play knight B3, as far as I'm aware. It's quite a positional way of playing, just trying to yeah, settle down on black's dark squares. I thought actually that the black was supposed to have developed some reasonable ideas against this plan, actually, bishop C6 and knight B3. So it'd be interesting to see what Mickey's got.
Must involve C5, you'd have thought.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is that, for example, after, let's just put a little analysis board. After bishop C6, BC, knight B3, one of the ideas is that c5 can be met by knight a5. I'm pretty sure that's one of the ideas. Well, the idea is cd knight c6. You know, this sort of thing. So you've got to be a little bit careful. I thought that a5 was the main move here, which also gives you ideas of bishop a6 and well, stops the knight from occupying these squares, and then you're going to try and go c5 later. I thought though that the recent theoretical status was quite decent for black of this specific line, but I'm not sure. So
do you think this is a good choice against Mickey?
What is a good choice against Mickey? Hard to say, really. But I think certainly the more positional lines, which Mickey's played all his life and plays exceptionally well, would not be a good idea. I mean, if you just give Mickey, there are quite a few lines in the French Tarrasch where, you know, white emerges with a slight edge, and there's no point giving Mickey that, a slight stable edge. So this is in principle quite decent. You know, maybe Mickey won't have all those lines sharp in his head. You know, much less likely to have this sort of line in his current memory than any of the others, I think. But I don't know whether Jonathan always plays this, of course, because, you know, obviously if he does, then that could be preparation. But Mickey's thinking now for a few minutes after bishop b5 a6, so I'm guessing that that this is a slight surprise to him. So that's interesting. That's going to be a good one. Okay. Let's have a look. This is quite interesting from Keith, because after e4, Keith has not played his normal Caro-Kann. He has played the modern.
But then transposed it to a Caro-Kann.
Well, yeah, this is now a sort of an offbeat Caro-Kann, or you could call it a Gurgenid system of the modern. Gurgenid's played this stuff with always with c6 and d5. And Keith is this is quite interesting, actually, what Keith's doing. So he's just playing his d takes c4 system, and he's going to get the structure that he likes. Actually, I have seen Keith doing this, I think, in the Blitz games that we've been commentating on. So I've played this with black, funnily enough, and I've had this, I think, maybe. Well, I can remember one traumatic game, and I wasn't particularly happy with the black side. But Keith's very comfortable in this sort of structure. So
tell us about your traumatic game. Who was it against?
Well, I was playing. I'll have to even maybe if I could show it to you, I would. But so I was playing black against Ivo Timmermans, who's a 2300 player, Dutch 2300 player, quite experienced player, good player. And I was playing for my club Amersfoort, and essentially I was getting completely killed. But then we were in raging time trouble. I spotted the most amazing cheapo. And it was basically against the winning move that looked like it was just totally winning. I could sacrifice my queen and give mate in 4. But yeah, somehow, you know, he wanted to play it, but he couldn't quite bring himself to play it. And then he just repeated moves, and it was a draw. You know, and even afterwards, he said, I guess this would have won, right? And I said, no, that was my trap. That was my big trap.
Oh, no.
So it's, but it was, but he had ways to win, actually. But he only saw the perpetual and this, you know, this way that looks so clear. And it was such a beautiful idea, such a beautiful mate. It was really quite gorgeous. I'll have to show it sometime, but
yes.
But okay, that's Keith. That's Keith's stuff. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Mickey's gone bishop takes c6 and c4. This is also now. I think there was a book there was a game in one of Dvoretsky's books by one of the guys that always helped Dvoretsky, and in which black got a fantastic position in this line. So, but c4 is just So what you've given black double pawns, and now you're trying to open the c file. And again, it's all about clamping on these weakened black queenside dark squares. That's going to determine what you do. So we're going to see. It does give black the opportunity to take on c4 and play c5 and get this light square bishop free. So again, intrigued by Mickey's choice here, and we're going to see how that works out. Mickey fighting the engine Hydra. That's a very long time ago. I think was 2005, I think, that Mickey played against Hydra, and this was apparently, as far as I understand it, it was an engine with not particularly sophisticated software, but incredibly fast hardware. And Mickey, I think Mickey lost 5.5 against Hydra, but I think by that stage the human engine matches were sort of coming to an end, because I think the same, or 2006, maybe a year later, Kramnik lost to Deep Fritz, and that was basically
Hi, chess with ADHD, and hi, Hellraise. We were just telling everybody about how much that Theo's playing even more chess, because I just saw him on Chess 24 and is it World Championships Rapid Play. So very good luck to him and the rest of the England juniors.
Yeah, 2005, I think, Mickey against Hydra, and 2006 was Deep Fritz Kramnik. Let's have a look. We've got B Unit against Nutflush. So, and Paul Dargan's thinking a bit here. So I wonder whether Bogdan has confused him with a move order or something. I mean, Bogdan can play pretty much anything as white. I don't think he plays e4 very much nowadays, although in the good old days he certainly did. But something d4, knight f3, c4-ish he can definitely do. So yeah, and what this has been, this is just yeah, a fairly normal English, and g3. And now, well, the big decision is to whether to play a move like bishop c5, bishop b4, or whether to go for reverse Sicilian with d5. I mean, in principle, I think reverse Sicilian is a good choice, but
yeah, but remember, Nutflush plays the c3 Sicilian, so that he can't do because of his knight already out on c6.
Indeed. So, but well, I mean, he played with success. He played against an accelerated dragon against Jonathan Payne. So
yeah.
You know, so he might go d5, but yeah, he seems to have been a bit caught out here by Bogdan's choice here, because he's thinking already after 4 moves. But well, we'll see how that goes. Yichenhan Esenxu against Yichenhan. We have yet another London system.
You can't have too many London systems.
Yeah, now this is very interesting. Queen b6 actually is a very interesting move. There was a very famous AlphaZero Stockfish game in this line, and very sharp, very interesting. Seems to be, in my opinion, pretty okay for black, but very sharp. We go queen b6, d takes c5, and then queen b2. So Peshka's gone for something a little bit quieter, just taking on d4 first, and then queen b6, forcing the knight round to b3, bishop g4, and now h3. So what's the situation going to be here? Well, you can decide. I mean, bishop h5 could be decent. You could also just play a solid idea like here and here. Probably grabbing this pawn would be a little bit too much bravery for you know, I guess castles, and we'll go c4 afterwards, and yeah, this could get quite unpleasant for black. But you could just play takes an e6. That's a very solid line. You could also try and it wouldn't be so silly to throw in a5, because after a4 you can't go c3, which is might be a little bit annoying. Although white does gain, you know, bishop b5, so it's one of those things you've got to weigh up. But yeah, you could also just go bishop h5 and just see, you know, what is white going to do here. And I guess probably white's going to go maybe something like c3 and maybe bishop e2, and it's much of a muchness, really. You know, it's decent for white, but decent for black too, really. So going to be you know, a tough game, and yeah, the person who plays best will win, which is
that's the way of it.
Maybe not a bad way. Now, Drunken Knight. Let's just swap that around. What was this? This was a Queen's Indian. One of those classical Queen's Indians, but where black didn't really diamond out again. I mean, normally you do ensure that that you get a knight e4 in somewhere, and then f5, and get a bit of central room. This is rather 1920s Queen's Indian play, where black just gets kind of squashed here. And yeah, I mean, white's got a very nice position here. You know, I mean, it's sort of slight to clear advantage for white. So yeah, I mean, black is solid, so you know, it's not like white's going to break through immediately, but this is just a very nice space advantage for white. At some stage, you're going to go d5 and then expand a bit on, pardon me, a bit on the queen side and a bit on the king side, and this bishop's kind of misplaced. After d5, it'll just be hitting a wall of pawns on d5 and e4, and not really supporting any king side advance with f5. So yeah, it's a little bit yeah, a little bit old style opening from Diamond Naught there, but not disastrous, but a little bit passive.
If I remember right, Hellraise was saying, I think it was Diamond Naught, that AN is pretty much self-taught, and
yeah,
and hence he might, yeah, he might have, I suppose he might have come up with this independently.
Yeah, or just yeah, just not completely be up with you know, the quite subtle move orders that Chris used there in the opening.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, you're never, you know, if you just develop your pieces somehow, then you're never lost from the opening. You know, you can be passive or worse, but you know, you're never lost. And then it's all just about yeah, fighting spirit and all that. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it all goes. This is Frederick the Mate against Robert Starley. Yeah, this system.
So Frederick the Mate is another person that's just played 2 rapid games in the World Championships this afternoon. Like the second one was starting at 5:30, so he's really literally just finished.
Oh, good lord! Because well, he's played in fact a drawing variation. You can go Queen B3 here, but he's avoided the draw, so he's going Queen A3 and deciding to fight.
You play for mate, exactly.
Well, yeah, but this is in principle this is just a worse.
Oh. Yeah.
It's just a worse position for a slightly worse position for white here, you know, because you've got the isolated pawn and black doesn't. So, but okay, you know, I mean, even you know, a slightly worse position can be played, and this has actually gone a little bit pear-shaped for black, or rather, black's got to be very careful now. What he does is quite a crucial moment. But Ferrari fans played very fast up till now, so it seems like he was quite confident. The slight problem rather is that after b6 we got knight b7.
Would you really go knight b7? You would, because that,
well,
if it was the other way, the knight's on freeze. Yeah. Yeah,
and rook d7, bishop b5. I mean, you'll win this knight, and then this one won't be in a great shape. But yeah, I mean, actually, it's taking away d6. So you know, I mean, this is actually quite. I think this is just. This will be winning for white in the end. I mean, you'll get your knight free somehow. So you can't do that. So now that means that you've got to look for something a bit tactical, really, to keep the balance. You've got a few ideas. You've got knight b6, which is the most obvious idea, hitting the bishop on c4, and you've also got something like maybe knight db4, looking to come into c2. That could also be a little bit difficult. There are other lines as well. Knight a5 maybe, but they look a little bit weirder. Knight b6 seems like the most obvious. So okay, well, this probably should be quite nice for white, kind of. Well, it shouldn't be bad really. I go bishop b3. I'm still attacking this pawn on b7. You could do something like bishop c8, you know, and keep the pressure on d4. But I go rook d1, and well, who knows? And if knight d4, then I can chop a Rooney probably takes, and then I can go. Well, rook e7 is one idea. Knight b7 could also be another idea. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, this bishop's quite nice, you know, irritating for white. So
did black do something wrong?
I think black was just a little bit incautious there, really. You shouldn't. I mean, taking back with this knight, this d5 knight was a bit slightly odd. You could have taken back with the other knight, which would seem more natural, just to keep the game on d5. Yeah. And then after that, it's just a few incautious moves, really. You know, knight c5, and now black's got to think. It's not necessarily true that this is bad for black, but it's just it's got quite tactical, and black really needs to solve some concrete problems now. Which, to be honest, you know, when you look at this position, you don't feel that black should be thinking about tactics for the next 30 or 40 moves, really. You know, that's the that's the point. I mean, I can play a move like bishop c8 or something, but then I sort of feel that, you know, that white's improved, you know, in comparison to the 13th move, you know, because black's gone just a little bit passive. So knight b6, yeah. I mean, although, you know, it might well be true that a move like bishop c8 is decent, and then try and chase away with b6. But I mean, if you go bishop f5, I'll maybe go a move like rook c1, you know, and if you go b6, there'll be some pressure on the c file as well. So, you know, it's probably about balanced. Yeah, knight db4 might be interesting. Just looking for an old knight c2 there. And I'm not completely clear as to what I should do. I mean, d5 is vaguely interesting, trying to force the knight back, and then we'll try and get this one. But probably after d5, we'll go knight a5, maybe.
Yeah. You're trying for this fork on c2.
Trying for this fork on c2 again. I'm
knight oh no, knight e4, but you still take on c4, and you're still getting the fork on c2.
Yeah, knight d4 takes f5. Interesting, maybe. Not sure. Yeah, this fork on c2 is a little bit. It's a little bit awkward. Indeed. Knight db4. Boom, boom, boom. I suppose we could go rook d1, knight c2. Just maybe a little bit.
Can you just drop the bishop back?
Yeah, but just then I'll go b6 or something, and then I'll probably get a knight d3 in afterwards, which is a little bit annoying. Interesting. How do we deal with this? I'm not sure, to be honest. Knight b7, rook b8, knight c5, knight c2 looks quite decent for black. Could I do a rook e2 and something, and do something clever? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure.
He's taken on b7.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look. What have we got? Oh, knight db4, knight b7, rook b8, d5 was played. Well, that's
You're getting very tactical.
That's getting very tactical. That's a very clever move, because the knight on b7 is covering a5.
Yes.
So we've got our trick. We've got our trick with d5. Only the knight on b7 is covering a5. So you don't actually have a
version, maybe.
Yeah, no. So this is quite decent. You don't have a good square for this knight. I mean, actually, anywhere it goes, either gets captured or exchanged. So probably rook b7, but then we go just d takes c6, and yeah. Yeah, rook b6 will go knight d4, and yeah. Well, yeah. No, I mean, this is actually worked out quite well for white. Looks like a slight edge. So well found with this knight b7 and d5. Very nice idea. So it looks like white's white's a little bit better there, which, yeah, in all fairness, probably shouldn't have happened after the move after move 13. So but very well played. Oh, Mark's got a King's Indian here. Let's see how that's gone. So this is white again, this system. But Mark knows this very well. So bishop g5, and Mark not castling. That's the key thing. We talked a few days ago, or maybe even yesterday, about if you castle, it would be actually in this position. If you castled, then we'd have bishop h5, gh, knight h5.
Oh, yeah.
A very dangerous play. But Mark actually plays quite solidly here. Just reroutes the bishop to e7, and then plays to swap it off.
Yeah.
Knight takes off. Knight f1, knight dc5. Yeah. I mean, in principle, you know, white is just a little bit better in such positions. But not so easy for black to create counterplay. Not completely clear where the black king should be going. But yeah, I mean, in general, this will suit the, you know, you say this will suit the experienced King's Indian player, and Mark is definitely that. So yeah, interesting to see how white plays from here on. But the big difficulty for black is that c6, a bit of counterplay on the queen side, is really difficult to achieve, because you can just go d takes c6 and queen d6,
Yeah.
you know, and you haven't got anything attacking d5. So c6 and c takes d5. I just go knight takes d5, take back with a knight, which is very awkward. So yeah, you know, that's so okay. We'll see how that one proceeds. Shav 7 against Phil Brooks. We've got a good old Carlsbad structure there.
Excellent.
Quite solid.
The white squared bishops have come off.
Yeah, and the dark square bishops are coming out off soon. In principle, this is not, you know, not very much at all for white, if anything. So we will see. Very solid position there. Testarossa Adam Sikowski against Aurora Toshika. So oh, this was a dragon. Okay, wow. Big theory here. So bishop e3, bishop g7, f3, castles, bishop c4, knight c6. But here, a very unusual move, knight takes c6. You don't normally do this, certainly against the dragon, because taking on c6, you bring a pawn closer to the center, which gives a threat of d5, and also the rook, can attack the pawn on b2. I think Vichy famously did this against Gary, or something similar.
Yeah.
This knight takes c6 idea, but got completely got badly crushed in actual fact. Yeah, in general, it's not. It shouldn't be a great idea against the dragon.
I have a feeling we've seen it a couple of times already this week.
Not knight takes c6.
Either in this tournament, maybe with the women's, I can't remember, but with knight c6, an early knight c6.
Okay. So queen d2, bishop b7 is a bit strange, maybe, because he'd rather put the rook on b8, or maybe move the a pawn down. This is not perfectly placed, but black playing for d5 here. So again, maybe a slightly strange move from white. He takes d5. I'd really be thinking more about going bishop b3 and making sure that this bishop on b7 stays passive. That would be my my initial reaction. This seems to make black's pieces better. So yeah, this is very pleasant for black. This has gone really well now, I think, and we're looking for ideas like d4. Rook c8 takes c3. It might be a good idea for white, I think, to maybe bring this queen back and start covering some of the dark squares, before trying to come with a kingside attack with h4 to h5. I think we need to get some control of these squares. Maybe a move like queen f4 or queen e3, for example, and then afterwards we'll come with the old kingside pawns. The nice sharp struggle in the make. This is Whimsical Jam against George. Let's have a look. What did we have here? Oh, this is a accelerated dragon and the Maroczy bind structure. This move knight g4 is well known. It's a trick that Larsen used to play a lot. Larsen, did Larsen used to play it? I think he played it. He also, Petrosjan also did against Larsen, a very famous game. And knight e6 was played in that position. e5 is possible. Keeps a knight on d4, but yeah, makes the d5 square very static. And in principle, always feel that white's just got a pleasant advantage here. So knight d5 from white takes, f5, f4, getting quite sharp there. And after queen d7, f takes e5. So black's going to play d takes e5, and well, I mean, actually, it's a good question as to whether, if you go d takes c5, whether I could maybe, I'm not quite sure about the move order. Let's just save this for a move order for now. And here might be quite awkward because, okay, it's going to be opposite colored bishops, but there's a lot of weak light squares in this position. And
Hi, Moody.
For example, here I could go bishop f5 with the threat of bishop h7 check, for example, whilst I'm also attacking this rook in some lines. So looks a bit dangerous to me for black there. So let's have a look what's happening on the top board.
James Pratt said that was Santa Monica 1966.
Yeah, that's the one with Queen takes G6, James. Well done. Hey, Modi. Let's have a look. Knight F6, takes. Keith's happy to exchange off a pair of knights. And now he's managed to get into C5 as well. So he's got his Caro-Kann structure and B6. And I think that Keith would be very, very satisfied with his opening here. You know, this is just, this is the way he likes to roll, basically. So if white doesn't do very much, then Keith will play bishop b7, e6, and gradually get his pieces moving the way that he likes. So yeah, interesting to see what white is going to do here. Whether white gets has a decent plan, or or whether white's just going to try and maybe just put the pieces on decent squares. I mean, not totally clear plans. I mean, you could try something with a4 to a5. That's always interesting. Just because, this bishop's quite well placed and gives us some hope for attacking these pawns. That's a nice safe plan, I think. Don't really think that you're going to develop any sort of kingside initiative, really. That seems a little bit unlikely. The other idea that you could do is to, well, just exploit the fact that the pieces aren't really very well developed and try something like bishop e5 maybe, and just see whether you're capable of, there might be some specific tactical, opportunities here of just to create something. For example, bishop e5 and I don't know, queen d7 maybe, I don't know, a move like knight d4 or a move like bishop c4, and you're just gonna, really just try and exploit your little lead in development and black's awkward pieces just to try and achieve something. But I don't know how good that is. The risk of that sort of plan is that what you can also do is just easily spend a few moves randomly putting your pieces in dangerous looking positions, but they don't turn out to do anything, and then you just wasted some moves. That's why plans like a4, a5 that are very well, you're doing something at least. They're often easier to understand there, and easier to realize.
I think Keith should be very much playing for a win today, in terms of tournament position. So he's half a point. Well, both players are on of this game are on the same, but he's half a point ahead of a pack that's chasing.
Yeah, no, that's true. And
he had a very quick draw yesterday, but I think today he should be going for the win. I think he will, because also he's got a kind of position that he's quite comfortable with. And
yeah, and I mean, he's playing a good opponent who's having a good run, but still Keith's well, if you have a look at the chess.com ratings, I'm not quite sure what Jakos's FIDE rating is, but he seems to be around 2250, 2300. That's a pretty good, in principle, just from a professional point of view, it's a pretty decent pairing at this stage of the tournament. So I'm sure Keith will be trying to make something of this. In actual fact, I think Keith will be quite happy with this last move of White's c4, which takes control of the d5 square, but really loosening this this central structure. I mean, this was a beautiful, strong central structure, that could support a knight on e5, for example, and I mean, something like a4 followed by knight e5. But c4 now, the dark squares are a lot weaker, and if Keith exchanges off the dark square bishops, which he will do, then there's all sorts of dark squares around these pawns to attack. So I think Keith will be will be notching this one up as a good point. And queen e2 is also a little bit odd, because you're really playing yourself into this maneuver. So I reckon Keith
wants to play his pawn on e6 anyway, doesn't he? That's
he'll play his pawn on e6, and then White's got to think, and then Black's got ideas. But probably I think Keith will probably play rook to d8, and then maybe the knight h5 idea can be very irritating for Black. So I quite like the look of it so far for Keith. Whoa.
Wait a minute, Keith, has he been British champion before?
No, never. I think did he reach a playoff once or very close, I think.
I'm sure he did. Or he needed he drew in the last round, didn't he? He took a quick, if he had won, he would have been outright British champion, but he did a draw to get in the playoff. Am I remembering that right?
I'm not sure. It's possibly, I'm not sure quite what the details were, but he got close once. That's what
for sure.
what I remember. So, but this is, of course, this is very nice.
And of course, he's already won the seniors championship.
That's right, the European.
Sure, I'm saying that isn't. I think it must be the rapid. The seniors championship isn't finished yet, so I'm jumping the gun a bit there.
Talking about the British, right? Of course.
This British online, yeah.
He won the European seniors.
He's won the European senior champion over the board. Yeah,
exactly. So let's have a look. What this game of Mickey's against Gunslinger is very interesting. So
Kevin says he was English champion and Stuart Conquest was the British champion.
Okay. So c4, c5. Takes, castles, bishop e7, knight b3. And we've seen this idea here, knight a5 from Mickey.
Oh yes. So
targeting those b7, c6 squares. So knight b8 is a pretty standard response. Looks quite hyper modern, but pretty standard response. Takes.
So Gunslinger's now out of his book anyway, because he's spent more time actually.
Indeed, yes, indeed. I think probably after c4 he started to think. So on move 8. So I think that was probably unexpected, maybe for Gunslinger there. But rook c1, bishop b6, knight b3. Yeah, and now Gunslinger's thinking, and you need to work out a bit what you're going to do here. I mean, in principle, Black's got has got some definite advantages. Black's got the 2 bishops, and in principle, quite a few light squares around the center in order to put his pieces. The only problem is that Black's not very well developed at all. Obviously, knight b8 has been undeveloped. Bishop's still on c8, rook on a8, and it's not so clear how you are going to develop properly. Because you don't really want to give up your dark square bishop, because then you really lose control over all the dark squares, and the chance of being of landing in a huge bind are quite substantial. But on the other hand, it's hard to think, how am I going to move my pieces out without losing my dark square bishop? So this is a bit of a tricky one. I think Mickey's come out very well from the opening there, so I'm just trying to think, how would we do it? I mean, you've also got to be a little bit wary, because if you come up with something too exotic, then White might also just play rook c3, knight d4, rook over to g3, f4 to f5. There are, with a pawn on e5 and no black pieces on the king side, there is also as well as the weaknesses of the dark squares and in the center around the king side, around the queen side. There's also a potential king side attack there too. So that's right, joint English champion but lost British playoff to Stuart Conquest. That's right. Thanks, Lawrence.
Thank you, Loz.
So that's I mean, there's a lot of possibilities here for White. So I'm just I'm struggling a bit, to be honest, to find a good plan here for Black. I think it's going to be you're going to be a little bit on the edge of the position in order to get anything done, because I mean, you've got no good square for your queen. This is the real irritation. That and if you go h6, then I'll just go bishop h4, and I'll keep holding on to that to the e7 and d8 square, because if you could put the queen on d8, then you could develop your bishop and maybe do something with your knight a bit later, but not.
What if you bring it right out to like f5 or g4?
Yeah, but then
you just lose your pawn.
Yeah. It's I mean, maybe
and your rook, if you try and then go follow it up with bishop e6.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could try something like bishop b7, but then I just go knight c5, and then I get the dark squares, and it's just I mean, it's all very well you protect the d5 pawn then, but then you've got a problem with your c7 pawn, you know, and
Oh, it's tricky, isn't it?
yeah. Well, this is what happens when you play Mickey. So yeah,
that's why he's Tricky Mickey.
That's why he's Tricky Mickey. So yeah, no, it's difficult. I think you know, Black's thinking a long time there, and understand why, because I don't really have good advice for where Black should put the pieces. I'm even starting to look at suicide lines like f6, you know, just to try and get a square on f7 for the queen. But you know, I mean,
I was looking at c6 to protect d5.
c6, but
which might help you get your bishop out, but you won't be able to get your knight out.
c6, yeah. Then you have no pride in your dark squares there. It's yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's you know, that is really bad in principle. If you have to play a move like c6, then you've you know, you've clearly lost the positional battle there. So yeah, I mean, it's just going to be, I think for Black, it's going to be a question now of find something and then just hang on for grim life. You know, I think that's. I mean, maybe. I mean, I always, you know, in these lines, I'm always just looking to, you know, could I sacrifice a pawn somehow, you know, and get some counterplay. I don't want to be passive, but it's not easy.
Mm.
I mean, Queen e6, Knight c5. I don't want to give up my bishop pair, but Queen g6, Queen d5. If I could have h6, would that help at all? Yeah. I don't know. It's just going to be unpleasant. I mean, these sort of lines are sometimes you can sometimes try them because you know, when the pawn disappears, somehow the bishop gets active in some way. But yeah, these pieces are so jammed up here that, you know, it's a difficult one. We'll have to see what. I think I'll delegate finding an answer to Gunslinger there because I'm not finding one there.
Let me think too.
So Nutflush played this reverse Sicilian. I think in principle it's a good choice. Played a5. Okay, that's often not actually played. Knight d2, rook d8, and now Bogdan is thinking.
Paul's been having a good tournament, hasn't he?
Bogdan, yeah.
No, Paul, and Bogdan as well.
Paul. Yeah, Paul's been having.
Paul hasn't lost a game yet, and he's already played 3 Grandmasters, including Mickey. Yeah,
no, I mean, he's doing really, really well. Played very sensibly there. Yeah, no, I mean, what? Yeah, okay. I was wondering about this, Bogdan. This is a known idea for White, just to take on b6, and well, there's obviously some weaknesses on the queen side there, and Bogdan following up with knight c4. So some problems with the b6 pawn. Obviously, if you go bishop c4 dc, then White's got beautiful control over the central light squares. So I don't think we'll see Paul doing that. But we're going to need some. Maybe need a bit of clever thinking here to, yeah, because it's not easy to hold that b6 pawn. I'm almost tending to think that the b6 pawn is kind of doomed.
Is it gonna?
Well,
c5?
Yeah, the problem is that if I go bishop c5, I think Bogdan will go knight a4.
Yeah.
And again, the question is, how am I?
Bishop d4, threatening. Oh no, because you just take on b6, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, the question is whether you can hit White on the way back. You know, whether his knight, you can get his knights exposed in some way, and then you know, then they can't, they don't manage to escape properly. But it requires a bit of good calculation and a bit of fantasy and ingenuity, and it's not easy. It's not an easy. I have the feeling that just thinking about how long Paul thought about the opening, that he's been kind of caught out in this.
Yeah,
you know, he was caught out by Bogdan's choice, and I don't think this is I don't think that he knows particularly well. You know,
Yeah.
not like his C3 Sicilian where he was rattling out all those moves against Mickey and.
I was just thinking, if this were an in-person tournament, he'd probably be well on track for an IM nom.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
You don't get, it isn't such thing, is there, online? Not as
No,
far as
no, but absolutely. I mean, he's played a strong field and he's done very, very well. You know, so that would absolutely be true. So, but yeah, this is just. I think you just. Yeah, you've got. Well, it just shows. I mean, I think Bogdan's prepared seriously against Paul, and he's obviously felt that he had a way to get him out of his stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's first big challenge is for Paul here to see what he can do with this d4 pawn, whether he can sacrifice it somehow, get some sort of counterplay. I'm desperately trying to find some lines really, but problem is a little bit that you know, it's one of those things where you say it's kind of just not obvious how you you'd really like to say, whilst white is wasting time taking the pawn on b6, I'm going to get something good in return. Only every move that I'm seeing is just getting in the way of white's pieces, and you know, and I mean, just thinking about it, I was just wondering whether bishop g5 was maybe an interesting idea. What's the matter?
Sorry, it was just let me think. Just as Peter's got his queen trapped in 10 moves today, we've got to check in on Checkmate a Lot's game next.
Oh no, who's Checkmate a Lot playing? Because I couldn't follow him.
I have managed to follow him now. He is
okay.
Followable.
He was probably just not.
Yeah, he's playing Unagi, who is Willie Stubbs.
Look above my screen there. Oh, there we are. Oh no! Oh well, I'm only saying oh no, but it's looking Queen b2, c4. Wow, c4's a really odd gambit, that one. My goodness. Queen b2, knight bd2, knight c6. Knight c6 can't be right. I don't think. Probably need to go c takes d4, I think. But knight c6 takes. Well, no, that's probably just jumping the gun there. But it's just that allowing this cd and knight c4 with tempo, it feels a bit risky. But well, what is happening here? I am actually wondering. Queen a3. So yeah, I mean, queen a2 would allow bishop c4, which would win a piece because this one's loose. So yeah, I mean, either we go to c3 or we go to a3. If we go to c3, then I think that we get hit by a rook c1 here. But that's not. Is that the end of the world? I'm not sure. It's just because we're hitting this knight on f4. So, you know, I just need to get out alive, maybe with a queen a3 or something. I don't think that this should necessarily be bad for black. This got lots and lots of squares. But what did Peter do then? Queen a3, knight c4, queen c3 check. Knight fd2, and then all of a sudden white's threatening rook b3 here, trapping the queen, which is rather annoying. Yeah, that is rather annoying, isn't it? Now the question is, so what Peter did was go knight takes d4, so looking to break stuff up. For example, e takes f4, knight takes f4, although that still looks a little bit risky. We're starting to get starting to be ideas like queen a4 check coming in, but white just played rook c1, and after queen b4 a3, indeed the queen is trapped, because queen b5 there's knight d6 check.
Ooh, nasty.
Oh dear me.
So what if we knight c3, we're losing a piece, presumably?
Well, actually, if I just go Queen
Oh,
h5.
losing a piece and still losing our queen.
It's going to be a bit of a toughie, this one. I mean, all we need is to get
the A4 square.
Sorry, yeah, you got the A4 square. That's true now. You're right. Rook c3 might. Yeah. I mean, I could even just go AB. That's the problem. Takes and ED. Actually, it's going to be 2 pieces.
2 pieces is a lot of pieces.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just one of those opening disasters, I think. I can't think of anything clever really for black. And the problem is it's not. Oh well, yeah. Well, I could even just take there and be a piece up, and then after knight f4, knight d6 would be even stronger. Or I can, I can do this one as well. It's really a matter of choice. So yeah, no, it looks very, 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 very bad for black. Just one of those things, one of those disasters, that you do have from time to time. All right, let's just go. Were we working through actually? Or I think we got.
Peshka the Great, we could see.
Yeah, we got a bit distracted, didn't we? So Eddie against Peshka the Great. So White's a piece up. White's just completely winning. Yeah.
Oh, grief. White's just won.
My goodness me! What actually happened there? So. Bishop f3, queen f3. I think some players maybe getting a bit tired. I think with all the chess.
Yeah, because Peshka, I know Peshka's playing in the juniors as well, and I don't know. He's probably playing in the worlds, I expect.
Yeah, I think people are starting to get a bit tired with all that chess. So a5, knight d2, queen b2, rook b1, queen a3, rook b7, b6. Oh, wow! What a tactic! Knight c4.
Ooh.
Well spotted, Edison Sue.
Gosh.
So there's so many big problems with that. That's a really nasty one. Although it feels very risky for black to take this pawn and all of that. But yeah, the big problem, if d takes c4, there's queen c6.
Yeah.
The problem is as well that knight c4 covers queen c1 with the bishop, so you don't even have a check. And of course, I'm forking this one and this one. So it's just totally not. It's so he took there, and yeah, this was a good safe move, and here, and well, yeah. I mean, you're just considerably up. Wow. Okay, that's a shock result there. But yeah, I get obviously not taking anything away from Edison's win. Very fine tactic found. But I think, yeah, certainly, I think a lot of our juniors have been playing an awful lot of chess in a lot of different events. So I think anyway, you always see it in normal events. You see tiredness taking hold and things happening. And
well, it evens it up a bit, doesn't it? Because the senior players, I guess, are going to get tired anyway. So it's only fair that the juniors play 6 events at once.
Exactly. Drunken Knight against Diamond. Yeah, Drunken Knight's doing a pretty good job so far, I think. So White's still got these pawns on d5 and e4, pawn on b4, stopping the knight coming to c5. So White's still got the space advantage. Black's managed to swap off a knight and a pair of rooks. So, but yeah, in principle, White's still got a very pleasant position here. I mean, yeah, I don't know, queen d2, h4, bishop h3, rook c1, maybe a4, bring this knight somewhere nicer. You got lots of ways of improving your position with White, and Black's yeah, Black can easily just end up in a very passive waiting mode. So probably a few crucial moves now for Black. I mean, actually, just thinking about it, b5 might be an interesting one to try and put the knight b6 into c4. Grabbing a bit of queenside space, that wouldn't be bad at all. I mean, the engines play these lines beautifully, you know, and they always seem to know when to grab some space and how to do it, you know. And but I think b5, for example, looks like a very reasonable idea for black, just to try and gain some space there.
And then white did the same on the king's side with h4.
Could do. It's yeah, you know, I mean, a slight edge for white here, but I don't think it's. I think, you know, Diamond North's done some decent stuff already. So Queen b8 played. The only reason I didn't particularly like Queen b8, I thought maybe white might throw in a Bishop h3 at some stage, and it's maybe a little bit tricky to deal with this pressure. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Frederick Lamate, they've just been look at that.
Oh, in an endgame.
An endgame already. They've been blitzing out the moves, these two players, but white has been probably a bit more successful than black here. Now Bishop e4 will just be met by Rook d7, which is completely winning, I think. So probably you need to play a move like Bishop d3 or Bishop g6. But this must be very, very close to just completely winning for white.
So how would you do it after Bishop g6?
After Bishop g6, Rook b7 looks tempting.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few. I mean, there's a few ways. Knight b5 also is quite tempting here, because if you come with a bishop, I come with a knight in here, and I get this one. So there's a few tempting ideas, because here I could threaten Rook c8 and c7 and then move the rook away. But I kind of like this one somehow. I'm just threatening c7.
Yeah, that looks good.
And then Knight b5, Rook b8. You know, there's yeah, I don't know. I mean, one of these ways is going to win it. You know, it's definitely on the winning side for white. Let's have a look. Schockvermer against Mark Hebden. We left it in a rather oh, okay, Knight g3. I was always expect more the knight to come to e3, and then you try and prepare g3 and f4. White here just played it very quickly, giving up a lot of weaknesses. I'm pretty sure that Mark was probably reasonably happy to see this, because now Mark has got two good squares for the knight. Oh, and this was blunder, giving the pawn on c4 away. So yeah, now Mark is just clearly winning here. Yeah. Well, I'd expect Mark maybe. Well, you know, you might go Rook d7. You could just decide to line up on the e pawn. You could try and go a quick Rook f8 and f5 just to activate like that. Even, to be honest, something involving g5 would not be silly at all, because you get a lot of counterplay on the g file. So yeah, a lot of options for black here, and looking very, very good for black. So
he's going to get his rooks into action with a pawn transaction.
Indeed, that would be g5 or f5, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I quite like the plan of g5, I have to say. So he's got an f5.
It's an f5. Yeah.
That's also. I mean, the rook's very active, so yeah, that could also be very strong as well. So it's just that yeah, with playing g5, you know, the knight defends the pawn f7. It feels like a complete rock. This is a little bit looser with weak pawns, a little bit more risky. But I guess that Mark's got it all covered. Shav7 against Phil Brooks. Yeah, this is not really catching fire yet. Yeah, black's very, very solid, and well, you can say the same for white, really. So yeah, I think yeah, just we're in for a long game with this one, but it's still quite equal. Okay, this one was quite interesting. Rook he1 was played, Queen c5, h4, d4, knight e4, takes, e6, Queen f4. So yeah, we've got rid of that knight. We've in principle, we've got a great black knight on that could have a wonderful career on e5, but it's just a question of how do we get it there. and it's not as easy as you might think. So knight h5. Yeah, I'm not sure. Are we going to do something like... maybe queen f2, and then threaten g4? Not clear. It's somehow... Yeah, kind of like to throw in an a5 as well, actually, at some stage maybe, just to see what white's going to do with that. Because yeah, if you get a4, then this one's maybe a bit weakened. Strange. I have the feeling that that black should somehow be doing really well, but I'm just feeling a little bit that there's pressure against the king side, and I'm not sure how to remove it really. So yeah, we're going to have to see it. I'm wondering actually whether the move knight g4 would have been a little bit better here, and after queen f4, knight e5. But the tactics are quite intricate there, so I'm not 100% sure about that statement. Maybe queen e5 would have been better to start with. I don't know, but this move queen f4 is quite annoying, and putting the knight on h5, it's not completely ideal. This is a long way away from the e5 square that you want. Leela keeps on losing. Chess with ADHD. Well, I think that Stockfish is just a bit better, really. Even in engine games, then that makes a difference. And Stockfish is quite remarkable. And Leela is too, to be honest. But the Stockfish is just a little bit more remarkable than Leela. Talking about the Computer World Championships there, which have nearly finished. I think it's game 99 being played at the moment. So out of 100.
Just to check at Aurora's game, what about a5, a4 to gang up on that bishop on b3?
Yeah, no, that's right. We talked about that one. So if we after a5, then yeah, white's got to make a decision about whether to play a4 or whether to play a3. And it's not a very clear decision, really. Probably a4 is what you should do. I think it's probably helped black because you get some ideas with rook b8 takes b3.
Yeah. Because I was looking at d3, like because although the queen's defending, I don't know, but
yeah,
like there are tactics in this position to me.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. I mean, you could go rook d7 here, and you'll definitely have a few more tactics than a few more tactics than you would otherwise have. So I think getting a5, a4, and it's a good move. But just somehow, somehow black's pieces aren't quite on the places they should be, and it's just a little bit weird, really. Oh, well, Whimsical Jam, that hasn't gone particularly well there. After FE, black took with the bishop on e5, which is quite risky because that knight on d4 was looking a bit ropey. I would have been very tempted to go bishop b1 here, and then when the knight moves out of the way over to the queen side, then I take on f5 and start attacking there. I think that would have been very strong. Whimsical Jam played bishop a6, which is quite reasonable, looking for ba, bishop takes d4. But now the tactics start to flow. Rook c2 there, takes, and queen a7, which is a bit, rather irritating for white, I have to say. Queen e3, f4 can't be taken because I just take. Queen d3 and rook b2, and now rook f2 played, and white's in a little bit of a mess here, really, because of the the king and everything. But it may not be as serious as it appears. It may be that white's got enough solidity just to get out of that. But it's
I'm sort of feeling like we want to put our king up to f3. Would that be crazy?
Yeah, queen h4 I think would be
queen
quite,
h4 and queen into g3.
Or queen g5 probably even stronger. No, I think we can just go play a move like rook c4 maybe, and just sort of try and cover stuff that way. No, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for white because I think black's going to have a lot of threats against the king. Maybe throw in an f3 or something at some stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
AHS with AD. No, I don't teach, I'm afraid. It's enough problems teaching myself, let alone teaching others. That's no, just no time for it. But that's a good setup, by the way. Chess with AD. That's really good hardware setup there. Let's have a look. So Amir Abbas, Jonathan Mackay against Amir Abbas. We haven't seen this game yet, I think. So some sort of modern. And then Black does this typical knight takes c4 and d5 trick just to break up the attack. Got the bishop pair for it, which was nice. Queen b6. So yeah, Black looking quite nice. Nothing too wrong with white, but potentially, yeah, this knight on the half-open file could be a bit awkward with the pawn on c2 behind it. So I would rather be Black in this position. Let's have a look. I've got another game under there, haven't I? That's checkmate. Okay. So after a3, queen b5, white didn't take on d4. White took the queen. Queen b3, knight bc7 castles, and Peter Finn is thinking here about what the best way to develop is. I think we've got to go for bishop e7 really. I don't think we can really cope with taking on f4 and opening up the center. So I think we've just got to be modest, go bishop e7, and then yeah, just try and survive for the next few moves. But it's pretty tough. Really going to be relying on white, I think, to be helping you a little bit with that, you know.
He did well to get away with this material balance, didn't he?
He did pretty well. Yeah, no, he did pretty well. I think it would have been easy to have got out much worse. There's still a fighting chance in there, you know. Which, yeah, what can you say? You know, if you get your queen trapped early on, to still have a fighting chance is as good as it gets, really. Yeah. Now, Keith, this is, in principle, this is turning out quite nicely for Keith. Obviously, you know, well, there's two weak pawns now, a3, c4, and just one weak pawn on b6 for Keith. So the chances that you get a rook and 4 versus rook and 3 are very high here. So so that's good. Obviously, you'd like to have a little bit more than that. So just need to work out a good way to mobilize your pieces and pardon me, and yeah, make the most of this position. Yeah, what should we do here?
Now, you were earlier talking about a plan with knight h5, swapping off the dark squared bishops and knight into f4.
Yeah, that's quite tempting still, in actual fact. I was just wondering also about knight d7, because the knight on d7 covers the pawn on b6. But I think probably that you should. I don't really think you should be developing the pawn on b6 as a, you know, as a first priority. I think you've got to assume that if you get yourself all organized right, that you'll be able to cope with any threats against the pawn on b6 by your threats against you know, the pawn on a3 or bishop on d3. So knight h5 is definitely an idea. I've got some weird ideas with. Well, let's have a look. Just so rook b3. Let's have a look at it from Keith's, because we're looking for from the black point of view. The knight h5 is interesting. One of the funny ideas that I was just thinking was whether you could meet bishop takes g7 with knight f4.
Queen b2. No. Queen b2. Yeah.
Bishop f3.
Oh gosh. Are you threatening mate? So bishop h6, I'm going to say.
That is a good move. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move. That's really annoying. Queen b2, I don't have anything. Well, queen b2, okay, I'll just go knight d3 then. I'm not going to play for mate. I'm going to play for material.
Yep. Then I would have to retake it with the rook. And you've won material.
I have actually won material here.
And you can stop my mate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think that this is going to look good, isn't it? I mean, whether it's bishop h6 or bishop h8, I go f6. And I'm also threatening bishop f3 here, so that's quite good. So, I'm trying to think.
I'm not quite a GM.
Because if you go queen e5, I take on d3 again. I think, and there's a lot of pieces hanging. Queen e5, knight d3. Queen c5, knight c5. I'm attacking the rook, the bishop, and rook b6. I just go king g7. So I'm just sort of wondering what. So I suppose queen e3 would be a reasonable move, and then
take it. You can exchange queens. You're happy.
Well, yeah. The only thing is, you take with this rook. I go king g7. So okay, you can't take on there yet because I've got bishop f3 and knight d3. But what if you go, well, not so obvious somehow. Got some nice pressure on here. Bishop e4 maybe. The pawn on b6 is a bit weak. Knight f4, queen e3. Knight takes d3. You've just got rook takes d3. I mean, I could do it like this. I mean, I could go takes here, for example.
Yeah.
Which is possible. Yeah. I mean, I might be able to claim an advantage here just because quite a good bishop, and I've still got those two pawns, and the b6 pawn for the moment is covered. It's a possible idea. It's a possible idea. This I don't actually see too many other squares where the queen can move. I think it's quite, if your queen b2 doesn't work, then it's going to be a queen e3, I think. So that might be interesting. I mean, I could also, I've got a few. I could go king g7, because something like queen b2, I go king g8, and if you go rook b6, I go bishop f3. And afterwards I take the bishop on d3. So although some stuff is hanging, it's not. It's maybe not that clear. I mean, yeah, I was thinking about moves like bishop e4, but well, I could take and go rook d6. I'm quite solid. It might be that knight h5 might be a decent idea for black there. Might be a good idea. Just trying to think of other stuff that I might be able to play. Wondering whether I can trick. Whether I can trick white somehow. It's just rook eb1. It leaves this one a little bit weaker, and I've got pressure against stuff to distract it. So I was just wondering whether I might find a bit of play there, because I mean, I could play a move maybe like rook d7, because if you go rook eb1, then I go bishop f3, and well, you've got to take back with the g pawn, which is obviously quite horrific. So maybe I could just go rook ed7 and rook ed8 and just put pressure on this guy. That's also possible. I think he's got a lovely position, actually. I think, and definitely a position that he'll like. So, but knight h5 is possible, definitely. I think, and maybe something sensible like rook d7 could be quite interesting. Or you don't want to go rook a8, because I think something like bishop d4 could be annoying. Although that's not completely clear, because I've got bishop f3. But then I go queen e3, and then the question is, do I have a clever way to exploit all this stuff, or is he just Oh, Queen C6. He's got Rook B6 maybe. Tricky, but a few ways of playing where you sort of think, oh, that could be quite promising. And Bishop C6 also could be a good, sensible move, just getting the bishop out of the line of the queen there as well. Quite like knight H5 though. Let's have a look. Is Keith's still thinking on this one? It's probably a good point because I think it's quite a crucial thing where you might be able to find some good moves.
Doing a plan for a few moves ahead, I guess.
So Gunslinger decided just to, which I think was as good as any other, just to give up the dark square bishop and then try and fight on the dark squares. So he's got rid of the queenside dark squares, but now he's facing somewhat of an initiative against his king. So how does this work out? Yeah, this looks almost winning, doesn't it, really? I mean, I'm going Queen H5 now, I think.
So, right, take the knight. Do we just win?
Bishop here. I mean, if GF, there's Queen F6, Queen H6, rather. Very mate on there, Queen F6. And if you go Rook G8, then I think I play Queen H6.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's a nice move, isn't it? Just to win. Probably I've got multiple cooks. Probably Queen G5 is also very strong. But yeah, that's the basic idea anyway. Just line up on there. Yeah, this just looks winning, completely winning for white. I don't see any real defense there.
So you can't take that knight, but can you defend at all?
Well, I mean, Rook H3 is the threat. That's the big problem. Because this knight's covering the queen on F5, so Rook H3 is a very big threat, attacking H7. So the only one I'm vaguely thinking of is to go E6, but doesn't feel like my dream, but maybe it's vaguely possible. Oh, pardon me. What could we do here? There are just too many good-looking moves.
Mm-hmm. Oh, E6 even, couldn't you?
E6, it's possible too. I mean, Rook H3, the idea is that we go G6. That's the big idea. Takes and FG, which looks all right. I'm also threatening Queen H3, so you'll have to think of something clever quite quickly. So I don't think that's very good. Yeah, I mean, EF6 is obvious, but now you're covering your stuff. And Bishop H6, I guess I'll go Rook G8. So, which is, not over yet, I suppose. I mean, Knight F5 might be quite dangerous still. I mean, I'm threatening to come in here. This would probably still be quite unpleasant. So that is a possibility. That is a possibility. Which probably is quite nice and safe and simple. But obviously, you tend to look a little bit more than for a little bit more than that. So E6. I'm not quite sure. Let's just say Queen C7. How about that one? Because Rook H3, we still got this G6 idea.
Hi, Kingstar. Yeah, we did manage that actually. The last Online British, we got interviews with. I think we had Theo on and Ketty Grant did give us an interview after finishing the tournament. We haven't quite got arranging it this time. It's a question of contacting the players, but actually. Yeah, some of them do come on the stream after us, like Checkmate a lot and Nut Flush. We'll invite them later.
Yeah, this is not so. Probably F6 is quite a decent move there. I think I'm not seeing a real way to finish off mate, but I think that just takes and but wait a minute, Matthew. Careful. Interesting. Interesting. This is not actually not so clear because so e takes f6, gf6. I wasn't really activating my brain because bishop h6. I could just take on d4. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. That's the Computer World Championship. I think that Stockfish has probably won another game.
Yeah.
And this is not 100% clear by any means. So Queen h5, f6. Barely seems possible. White has done everything right. So e6, Queen c7, for example.
Yeah.
Rook h3, g6. Queen takes fg. Don't I have something good? Knight f5, maybe. Maybe good wisdom. Maybe. Have I got any threats at all? Yeah, I'm looking at going rook h3.
Yeah.
G6, queen takes a knight f5. I'm
Threatening e7, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm threatening e7. So you might need to go rook takes f5 because I can't really think of another move that you could do, really. Well, rook e8, that's maybe possible.
E7.
I take it. Rook e1, maybe? Possible. I mean, I might need to yeah, Queen f7 in this position.
Oh.
Not
Take the queen and knight d6.
Yeah, this is I'm gonna go rook e7. Probably promising for white, but oh dear me. My goodness, do I have a better way of doing this then? Because I think I'm probably I thought this was just so completely winning that you didn't need to look at anything else, but it's looking a little bit more fraught than I'd given it credit for. Queen h5, f6. Should we go something like bishop f6? It's not quite as clear though. I mean, takes queen f3 is sort of possible. I can just go queen d8 or something. It's not quite right. Oh God, how odd! You really think that these positions should just be excellent for white virtually winning, but doesn't seem to be.
Maybe we can just play it a quieter way and not try and win on the spot, but just is he too far in to do that? Just
well, that's the thing actually. I mean, it's just that if you just move your knight back or something, then black's got a little bit more play there. Your pieces are actually in great attacking squares, so I think you should really be. It feels like you should be taking the time now to. Now is really the moment, to sort of finish it off. But you're looking at it and you're thinking, we're not finishing it off. How can this be? Queen h5, f6. That is an incredible defense.
But what do we do? Bishop f6 and then e6. Oh, it's not.
No, we did e6 because takes. I wasn't quite sure what I was doing here. I don't think I've got a good, easy way of getting through here. So I was saying e6. Oh, but wait a minute. We've got this move, queen e8. 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . 8 . Just winning for black.
Winning for black, you say?
I do say.
Take.
Hey. Hey. Sorry, it's been a long week. It's
yeah.
You have two pieces on breeze. Bishop g5, knight d4. I think you're in trouble here.
Yeah, maybe.
So this is actually rather perturbing. So e6, queen e8, which I should have spotted much quicker. Looks very good. Rook h3, we've got this move g6. And once again, there are a lot of things hanging for white. And the problem is, you know, queen g6, fg. After e6, I just go queen g7. You know, I can put my pieces onto a better square. So that's not possible. So an ef gf. I can't believe this. I must have a way of just a very simple way of keeping all the advantages in my position. I mean, this is not normal.
Tell you what, Mickey's having a good think.
Well, he's probably
thinking just the same.
Or
how can this king h8 be?
Probably quite a long time ago, he discovered some of the tactics I'm just painfully slowly discovering now. But this is rather, because there's, yeah, I mean, even distract, you know, you start thinking, oh, could I distract the queen maybe in some way? But I mean, it's all feeble, and it's not really doing the biz. And yeah, this is
so bad. Say we just drop our knight back, we forget all this stuff and just drop our knight back. How bad is it? Like knight c2.
King h8, knight c2. Well, no, it's not bad, but I've lost. I feel like I've lost most of my advantage. I mean, I had everything. I had the dark squares, and you know, and the world was my oyster, and all of a sudden it's just. I mean,
but then you overextended.
Well, maybe, but it didn't feel like it. I can tell you. Didn't feel remotely like that. Now I'm going to start getting more and more desperate and looking at more and more ideas. I mean, one idea would be to go bishop h4. After here, I want to take on here. That's the basic idea. But that's going to require a little bit of calculation. Because this is the idea, you know, and king g8, I'd go queen h5, you know, and I'm very happy. But I'm just wondering, you could probably go king g6. Queen d3, check, 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 king h5. I'm not confident that I'm mating you there.
Okay. The audience has some ideas for us. Blue-grey Haze wants the h pawn on h6, and King Star would like knight e2 rather than knight c2, with a plan to get to f4 and d6.
Or f4, yeah. I mean, knight e2 is probably the if we're gonna retreat, then King Star, then knight e2 is probably the best one, I think, because you can get round into here. But I'm still.
You're not admitting that retreat is the answer.
I've kind of got tears in my eyes as I play it, you know. Yeah, pawn to h6 would be lovely indeed, but it's going to take a few moves, and I'm afraid that I'm going to lose that knight on d4 before I do it.
Well, Mickey has played queen h5.
Wowzykins. So has Mickey spotted something that I have missed? Well, that's that would not be the world's greatest shock. But I'm intrigued actually, because as far as I could see, it was not looking that promising. I mean, I think it's Black's only got one move to defend f6, so that's basically there is basically nothing else. And now I'm just wondering whether what could Mickey have seen here? What could Mickey have seen? I mean, really, from the Black point of view, yeah, there is only one move there. But e6 Queen e8 is just horrific. That's I think really White's completely lost there. So you can't do that. And the question is whether you have some other ideas that you can do. But after EF takes, bishop h6, c takes d4 is not so bad for Black. And knight f5, queen f5. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was wondering whether this move bishop h4 was a possibility. The only thing I was wondering about was, if Black just goes rook g8, super solid and defends, then what have I gained really? Maybe not so much. Maybe I can go knight f3 into g5, but I'm not 100% sure. Could try moves like this and this, and then just. I mean, that was sort of what I was wondering about, whether I could try and do something like that. But Queen h5, I don't know, f6. I'm not quite. Yeah. Well, I hope I'm just missing something clear here, and that Mickey's seen much further. That would not be. That would not amaze me completely. But I mean, there are a few of these positions which you could maybe wonder about and say, well, could we, sort of Tal style play this, and maybe go rook e1 or something like this, threatening rook e7. I go rook f7, and then maybe I play like this. I mean, it might be possible to do this. I've got, Black's got rook, bishop, and knight, but all the pawns are split, which means they're prey for the queen. The white king's safer. I'm active. The knight is passive on a6. Maybe you can play this. Maybe you can just say, this is chances for white still. Not completely stupid, but yeah, it just feels so
Black
much.
has played f6 now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is a big crucial moment now, because we're going to see what Mickey's got prepared. I'd expect him to play quite quickly now, because he spent a long time on this one, 13 minutes. So, and Mickey's a good calculator. He's he's not really known for it, but he's very he's when it's time to get down to the work, then he just does it basically. Obviously, his feeling for the game is exceptional, but he is also like all elite players, he's a very strong calculator as well. So he takes f6. Okay, I wonder whether Mickey's going to go for this one, the line I've been saying, or has he got something stronger? G takes f6 is going to be played quite quickly, I think, as well. Although actually, wait a minute, is that possible? Could I go c takes d4 here? No, that would probably. I mean, it's surprisingly legal in actual fact to play c takes d4 here. But I think I take and go bishop f4. And then follow up with bishop e5, because rook f4, I chop a Rooney and go queen check.
Yeah.
So good luck. Amazing. How many moves am I missing here? Okay. So but g takes f6, I think is. Oh, but wait a minute. What about g6 here?
G6 for
Black.
black.
Heaven's sake, I'm missing so many moves here.
It's okay. Queen h6.
C takes d4.
All right, actually queen h4, not queen h6.
Fair enough. Queen h4. C takes d4.
Then I'm just going to take.
Whack. Rook f7.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you've chosen a good way of playing. I mean, I think rook e3. I mean, we're coming into e7 in this position, and I'm not 100% sure.
Oh yeah, black's got a weak back rank.
I'm not 100% sure that I'm. Nah, this is probably going to be very strong for white. I think I'll just go rook e1 and get in rook e7, and I'm not quite sure really how you're going to defend against all that. I think this one is probably good for white. This one.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, it's not 100% clear, but I think this one is true. So I would have thought. I think that e takes f6, g takes f6 is the best one for black here. But yeah, this is quite. This is not nothing. This calculation. Yeah, I haven't been. Oh dear me, do apologise. I've really not been spotting all the defences for black. Just it's actually a little bit all due to disbelief. Actually, I sort of thought my first look at it was, look, Mickey's played it so beautifully. It's just all smooth and easy now.
Can we do a couple of seconds on Frederick the Mate?
Indeed.
It'll probably only take you a couple of seconds because it's a king and pawn endgame.
Yeah, this is just winning. So G3 here. It's simplest move.
Aha, and then the white king can come out.
Yeah, and then we're winning the pawn. I guess that king h6 is also winning, but G3 is the absolute simplest.
Excellent.
So that would be pretty good. Sorry, let's. We've been concentrating. We'll keep an eye out on Mickey, just see when Gunslinger plays. We'll have a look at what Nutflash has been doing. So yeah, I mean, the difficult situation we sketched, didn't we, for Paul? He decided to go for this position where, in principle, the black knight is strong. I'm a bit surprised with bishop d5, really, to be honest. The knight was quite a natural guy there, but I guess Bogdan just looking to exchange off queens. Actually, Bogdan's looking to play it very, very calmly and all that. But Paul's gone for the old attack here.
Gone berserk.
E5 or DD8. Yeah, I mean, I think considering the position that he had, this is he's done his best. What can you say?
Kingstar, it's the Open in the British Online Championships. The championship. I'll get you a link, and it's board 2.
So Gunslinger has played GF, which I think well played is the correct move. So now Mickey's got to demonstrate what his plan was. I am guessing bishop h6. That's my guess, and we're going to go bishop. We're going to take the queen for rook and 2 pieces, but just claim that that black's quite uncoordinated, and that'll cause problems. I'm just thinking of something else actually, but that's a little bit more. I was just thinking what I could do is go check a Rooney, takes, check, and go queen d7, which might be a little bit awkward. But I'm kind of feeling a bit that this is a bit risky. Or queen e7, rook c8, rook c1, but my back rank is weak. I don't think we should do that. I think we should just go for what I said, rook e1, probably rook f7 to stop rook e7, and then just play here. would be intriguing to know what oops, sorry. It would be intriguing to know what the engines think of this one. But I don't know. I think White's there's definitely chances anyway. But Mickey's thinking after G takes F6. So yeah, we're going to see how that goes. So sorry, nut flash. We were working our way through this. Takes, bishop G5, knight C4, A4. Just that's good. I mean, what has Black done here? Created chaos and mess in the structure. So you know, even if White's a pawn up, but he's got weaknesses everywhere as well. So you know, however, yeah, still not easy to see how Black's now got to try and find the next wave of attack, and obviously it's quite tough. Paul spent a lot of time here, so he doesn't have the luxury of plenty of time to think about it. I mean, just as an initial thought, Rook F6 followed by Rook F8 feels interesting because you've got to be a little bit careful. But if you go H4 here, I can take and go Rook G6. So you know, I'm still okay from that point of view. So Rook F6 is my natural sort of feeling of oh yeah, this might be the way to do it. Black's in trouble, but you know,
have some more moves now in Mickey's game.
Okay, so bishop H6. Oh, Mickey's just taken. Okay, so Mickey has taken on there. That is also yeah, that's a good way to do it. Well done, Mickey. That's much better than what I was thinking of. Very simple. Just so if Mickey gets this pawn, then he's got a rook for knight and pawn. Sorry, rook and pawn for the knight. But he's got plenty. He's got both rooks on. He's got plenty of active files. Yeah, this is much better. Much better. Yeah, no, that was not good of me. I should have spotted this much earlier. Yeah, this is going to be much better. So the only question is, I suppose, is how do you want to get your pieces involved? I mean, Rook D1 is possible to take on D4. That's definitely one idea. I could throw in a Queen H6, which might be could conceivably be irritating. What else? Queen H4. Tempting to try and think, you know, could I get a rook into the seventh somehow? But I'm not quite sure how you'd.
Yeah.
Not quite sure. I think Rook D1 feels like a Mickey move, really. But I think probably you've got to watch out just a little bit, and just on the other hand, the Black King is quite weak there. So yeah, I mean, Black could bring his knight over and defend. It's not over by any means, but probably we probably need a good move here, a really good move that somehow stops the opponent's pieces get active and gets the queen active. I'm not 100% sure about it. Queen H6.
He has gone Queen H6.
Yeah, so Queen F7, I think, is more or less. Well, is that correct? I could go Rook F7 as well. Maybe Rook F7 would be better here, just to avoid tying the queen down, really. But I don't know. I mean, in all cases, you're going to try and bring the knight C5 into E4, for example, or maybe even better to E6.
Blue Grey Haze is asking about bishop G7 instead of bishop takes F8.
Yeah, that's what we were looking at. That's what I was looking at. So I was thinking.
What did you think of it?
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying all the time. That the White gets this position with the so queen for rook and two pieces, but you've got some quite nice control. I thought this was better for White as well, probably. But I think Mickey's is probably the better move practically, because he's played Queen F7, the gunslinger, and now Rook C1. Mickey Rook C1, stopping the knight from coming out to C5.
Yeah.
That's clever. But it's quite it's ambitious. It's really ambitious, you know, stopping the knight from coming in there. And the reason I was thinking that Rook F7 was maybe better than Queen F7 is that, for example, if the knight moves now, like to b4, then rook c7 would be annoying.
Yeah.
So that's why I was thinking maybe rook f7 was better than queen f7. But so yeah, Mickey doing his stuff here and trying to keep the knight, because you can't bring the knight back like this, of course, because of rook c7.
No.
So, I don't know.
Does black want to activate like just d3 and then the other d pawn going and try and get a line for the bishop?
Yeah, the only problem is that gives you lines for the white rooks as well if you start clearing the center pawn. These are quite nice because they're stopping rooks from getting active somehow. But what you really want to do is to get this. You want to get this knight active. If you can do that, then you feel so much better about yourself. So I'm wondering about
move now. Could it to e8 or yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it's a slightly risky move, right? Because you're letting this d pawn live. So
so what about rook e8? Because you wouldn't want to swap that rook, would you?
I'm not sure. Because your chances of getting your knight active are quite high. You see, that's why I'm. But obviously the weakness of your pawns becomes greater with the exchange of rooks. So I'm not 100% sure about it. This is a very good move, rook c1, stopping knight c5. It really is a good move there. So just trying to work out what knight b8 isn't possible. I mean, I was wondering about knight b8 to meet rook c7 with rook e8. That was one of the cunning ideas I had. Obviously, rook f7, I've got rook e1, but it doesn't actually help because you just go something like h4, and then queen c7, you've got queen f6, and that's going to be mate. So I mean, maybe I can just go bishop c8. Maybe this would be, and just try and bring the bishop round to f5 to this diagonal. Could be possible. But black having a good thing. This is a very fine maneuver from Mickey. I think.
I'm guessing. My guess is rook e8.
Yeah, rook e8 is possible.
With the idea of then getting the knight out.
Oh, but you can't.
Oh, why?
Well, if I go h4, for example.
If you go h4, that ruins my threat.
Yeah, because if you go here again, I'd take it again. So. I mean, we could do, this idea that you mentioned of going here and then knight c7. That might just work. But it's all pretty fraught. It really is all pretty fraught. Sure. It's a very nice move. Rook c1 was a very good move. Yeah, excellent. Let's have a look. Bishop g5, queen h5 was played, h3 from Bogdan. So Bogdan's doing his utmost here to keep his stuff safe, basically, and he's kind of. I think he's also, looking for black to run out of time as well. It's.
Look, that flushes down to under 5 minutes.
Yeah,
he was slow on time yesterday, wasn't he? As well.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. It's so I think this is Bogdan's kind of general idea, just at the moment, just to. I mean, one thing I'm wondering about. It's probably no. I guess not. Queen h6. Okay. I mean, maybe Bogdan will go rook e2, just to really consolidate everything, and then only then rook e2, maybe king h2 as well, and only then do something. It's going to be a tough one for Paul. I think Bogdan's playing this quite solidly.
Yeah, you might consider giving up your pawn on b7 and bringing a knight round to the king side.
Maybe, yeah, knight e7 is possible. It's just
the c pawn looks a bit strong then, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just it's judging whether you're going to make stuff worse or whether it's so bad that you need to do that already. And I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure, but you could well be right. That it's the best thing to do, but I'm just not 100% sure about it. So okay, we're gonna see that Gunslinger thinking a difficult position. Mickey playing very well there. Drunken Knight against Diamond. What have we got? Well, Drunken Knight has won a pawn, but Diamond is going to win the e4 pawn back. So this is still a very murky position. What is happening? I don't know actually. What is happening here? Yeah, I mean, very unclear. I mean, the queen's threatening to take on e4 here, and then d5 will collapse. I mean, you've got this past b pawn, but it's not clear. Not clear at all. I mean, I could play queen c6. So you go queen e4. Oh, for me, and then I go b5. I guess I could go knight takes d5 then. If b6, I've got knight e3.
Queen c6 played.
Okay, queen c6. Yeah, okay. So I think queen e4 will be played. And then I'm guessing b5. And then I'm guessing knight takes d5. So that's what I'm thinking. And I'm not 100% sure what white should do. Problem is that knight on f3 is in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can get stuff like f6, g5, g4 in, you know, and so, and if you move your king away, then I just take your knight, and then I can give my knight up for the pawn. So it's kind of, I'm not sure. I don't know where you move your. I don't even see a good place to move the queen to support this pawn, and then also not fall for any of these tricks. So I'm not sure. I'm wondering whether Drunken Knight's gonna. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he's going to do after this move, Queen E4, because of course, you know, it's the whole crumbling edifice thing that this pawn is going as well. So you definitely need to have something in there. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm wondering whether Chris has maybe overdone this one a little bit. Have a look at this one. This is Black Mark Hebden against SV 2701, looking very good. Yeah, looking very good for Mark here, of course. So a pawn up and dominant rooks as well. So it looks like it's going to be a win for the Leicester Grandmaster.
I think I would try and double rooks on the 7th. And
I think that you would be right. So yeah, looking very good for Black here. Shav 7 drew with Phil Brooks. Yeah, that was a pretty solid game all round, really. And so that ended in a draw. Testarossa against Chess Queen. Ooh, this has got quite sharp. Let's have a look. Well, obviously white is better here, but how are we going to finish this off?
Rook g6.
Rook g6. That's possible. It's black to move, of course, but
then we won't do that.
Yeah, but rook g6 is a very strong move. It's true. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be more or less impossible to deal with. So queen a6, looking for a sneaky check on f1. But probably your idea, is that true?
It defends the rook subtly.
It definitely subtly defends the rook. So,
but we actually also have rook takes h7 and queen e8.
Oh, now we do. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that wasn't the queen on e6 was covering that one. But as Natasha points out now, we have the brilliant chop, and mate. Well spotted.
I'm going to predict it now on the board. There we go.
Go for it.
Listen. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well spotted. So that is really good. Oh,
What?
What has happened in whimsical jam against George?
I don't know. Oh gosh.
It's black. It is. Sorry, I thought it was white to move, which would have been quite scary, but it is black to move now. So rook takes g2 would be, in principle, better for black. I wonder whether rook g3 would be even better.
Rook g2 better for black. Can't. What if you just queen takes?
Rook g2. Then we go queen g3 probably. Is that working? I'm saying that very quickly, but
probably is.
No, it's not working. It's not working. It's not working. That's because you just take me and go e5, and then go round to g1. So it's definitely not working. So come on, Matthew, switch the brain on. Yeah, I mean, I could. I suppose I could play a move like queen f4, for example. That would be much stronger. But that is what this should be an advantage. I was more expecting king g2, to be honest. Just to which I think it's a bit better for black, but it's maybe not so huge. Maybe I go h5 or something. I suppose the question is, can we do something better than that?
There's a knight on c7 in Mickey's game.
Oh. Okay, yeah. So rook g8 was played, queen d2 takes, knight c7. Yeah. Big, yeah, things with the rooks off. But okay, you're gonna get, I mean, a knight on e6 is a great piece here. I think unless there's something,
maybe just queen d4 and.
Well, I'm wondering because after queen d4, knight e6, I don't know, say I go queen a7, you go d4, and well, okay, you've lost some pawns. That's not good, but you've got quite a bit of activity there. So I was just wondering whether it would be cleverer to go play a move like queen a5 and leave these pawns in front of these pieces. And then the question being, can I hit these? Maybe, queen b6, maybe, or maybe just move that. It might well be that you end up giving me those pawns anyway, but that may be it's maybe more awkward.
Whimsical Jam got a draw by repetition, and the computer thought it was completely equal.
Oh, fantastic! Well played.
Good fair result then.
Testarossa found your mate, Natasha. So top guesser.
Good. Okay.
Oh, look at that! Top guesser, 1 out of 1, and me, that's 0 out of 1. Wow, there we are. Excellent. I keep on getting these. Edson Xu has finished his game, and now he's just playing.
He's playing a lot of
bullet non-stop. So let me just close all my analysis boards because I've got so many. It's
Tactics Monster.
Oh, Tactics Monster we haven't seen. That's a good point.
Oh, he's just queened a pawn, in fact.
How many Tactics Monsters is he?
Just one tactic.
12.
And then 12 of them, yeah.
One tactic and 12. Okay.
Tactic Monster 12.
Who's white? Oh, Aryan is white. Oh, yeah, that's looking very good for white, of course. King e3, queen e6 check, and the rook on a2 falls. Well played.
I'm a pickle against Lawrence Spencer.
We're going to come out with a huge revelation there, but no.
Yeah, that I am in fact a pickle.
Indeed. Rook fc2. Oh.
I sort of imagine that must be that I'm a pickle. I wonder how old I'm a pickle is. No, normal age. You can imagine mum saying to a little kid, "You are a pickle."
So rook e4 looks natural. Played. Bishop takes e4. Rook d3, and white's in a bit of a pin. So pickle. I'm in pickle. Is in a bit of a pin.
Oh no.
But it's not 100% clear. But maybe you should get your king safe or something now, and just or maybe should Well, lining up is a little bit. No, yeah. You could play rook c8, something like that. It's a little bit awkward for white this, but not lost yet. Let's have a look. Back to Keith, the top board game. So what happened here? Keith played after rook b3. Keith played it quite simply, just getting his favorite structure, knight against light square bishop, and then setting up like that. Oh, and then rook e6 defend. That's a nice. That's quite a nice way of playing. But white played it. Well, I think you'd say, just liquidating some pieces and kind of managed to get the his bishop active, which is quite good. Now swapped off the queens and rook cb5. Keith Arkle declined the draw there, as you'd expect. Tactic Monster has won that game. Very well played. In principle, should be quite even. I think probably Black's chances of getting a rook and 4 versus rook and 3 are there in this position, but won't be easy. Obviously, the pawn f7 is a little bit sensitive. Oh, but this is quite nice. I think he's going to go rook d2, probably hoping to try and provoke a weakness, and probably white will have to swap off a pair of rooks, and then all of a sudden the danger against Black's kingside sort of disappears. So it's a Keith game. I think he'll be, this is a sort of game he likes. So that's Mickey did it. Mickey did it. He didn't take the pawn on d4. He just And he played this move, nice move, queen b5 to stop the pawn moving to d3. So I do think that Black should have gone d3, simply given away the pawn and gone d4 and got a bit, because f5 I do not like at all. We're just weakening dark squares here, and I think the chances of any sort of counterplay are not very high. So I think Mickey will probably just play a4 here.
Yeah.
I mean, a5 takes, and I don't know. I think this is very strong for white now. Wow, Mickey, well played. Being again Nusra. So I think Paul did do what you said, Natasha. But
I can't remember now what I said.
You said sack the b pawn. Sack the b pawn. You said give it away.
And then I said, but maybe the c pawn will get strong.
Yeah, that's right. I think that scenario has also come to pass there. So I think Paul in desperate trouble here now. But it was very, very, very difficult. So, I would expect Bogdan now to finish this off. Drunken Knight Diamond. Wow, this has gone crazy. Queen e4, b5. Oh, knight takes d5 wasn't played by Diamond. I wonder why, actually. He went queen e2, knight g4, bishop a7, e4, knight g1, queen a2. It's all happening here. So Black's actually got quite a big threat here of, is it a big threat? Well, it's sort of a threat. Yeah, knight
E3.
f2.
Oh, no.
E3 or knight f2 followed by e3, depends. If you, I was thinking, the reason I was thinking knight f2 is if you go h3, then I go knight f2, and you go here. You've no longer got knight h3 to cover. That's so yeah, and Chris needs to find a way here, but not going to be trivial. Maybe you need to bring the queen back or something. But then I take on d5, and I'm still threatening e3. So I think this has gone a bit pear-shaped for Chris, and sort of out of nowhere, really. It's just all a bit mysterious how it all went wrong, because he seemed to be doing all the right stuff, really. Oh yeah, Mickey has just it's exactly this line that I was talking about, and I think Mickey's just winning now. Wow, that's a very impressive game from Mickey. Very, very well calculated, and saw lots of stuff that I didn't. So rook e2 check. This is going to be decisive, I think, for Mark. King c3 allows rook d3 check. King c1 will go knight d3 check. So expecting resignation quite soon here from white. So that's a good game from for the jester from Leicester.
Yeah.
This looks quite good for white, I think. H takes G4. And then the pawn's coming to G6 and we're going Rook F7 mate. So I think this will, yeah. Looks like a very good position for white there. Checkmate a lot. Well, look at checkmate a lot.
Is he back in it?
He's back in it, really. I mean, he's... if you'd almost say that he's sacrificed brilliantly now, because he's got 2 pieces, bishop and knight, and 2 pawns for the queen. And look at those 2 pawns.
They're nice pawns.
Yeah, I don't think you'd say that black is worse anymore. Maybe the contrary, actually. So yeah, this could be an amazing fight back from Lot. I'm a pickle.
Are you?
Indeed. So Rook C7. Oh, that's actually gone a bit. I'm a pickle is suddenly looking in great shape here, because Rook C7 allows Queen D8.
Yes.
And actually, that's an unstoppable threat.
Queen F8, but you can't. It's not nice.
Yeah, it's not nice. Probably Queen D8 simply wins, actually, threatening Queen F8 and Rook D8. So no, I think it's gone, I'm afraid. Wow. Yeah, that's gone. I think Queen B4 was. I think we didn't need to take this one immediately. We could maybe go Rook C8 or something. You know, that would have been better, I think. Yeah, hard luck, black. That was just when it was looking good. I'm a pickle has struck again. Our B unit has beaten Nut Flush. So well played, Bogdan. Hard luck.
Hard luck, Paul.
Keith is doing his stuff. It's going to be a tough one for White. If White manages to survive this, then he's doing well. You know, but he's played very well, Gerasimos, this tournament so far. So it's not going to be an easy one for Keith. But Keith is definitely, yeah. I mean, Keith's been on top all the game there. This is a very impressive game from Mickey. Yeah, D3 now, but really needs to go D3 before you even played F5, F4. You need to go D3 and.
I was just looking at all the guesses on Keith's game, and they're just from all nations around the world. You must have a huge following. Because not people that you wouldn't look at it as British Championship followers necessarily. This has happened.
This is what we predicted in the Diamond game. So H3 was played, but this Knight F2, Bishop F2, E3, and now the Knight can no longer come to H3. So this is completely winning for black now. Is that true? Sorry, I'm always getting overexcited here. No, that's not necessarily true.
So okay, B6.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go. Crazy. B6. So I would really love to go EF, but it actually doesn't make much difference really. Check there. Here. Takes B7. That's only going to be a draw, isn't it? That is only going to be a draw. I got too carried away by the excitement. Is there any way to do anything any better? Well, I mean, EF would really be the one that you'd want to play, you know, something like Knight F3, Queen E2. That would be the one. But after EF, you just go B7 and you ignore me viciously.
He's played Queen takes.
Queen takes here. Yeah, okay. Yeah. King H1. But then this is going to be a draw. E2, Knight takes E2.
Just E2, is it?
Yeah. And it's just going to be a perpetual.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's looking like a draw there. Oh, interesting. Mickey.
There's no way for black to win just because that white pawn's too close to
the white pawn's too strong and your bishop's not active enough, you know, and so no, that's just going to be a draw there. Keith making progress, I think.
Okay.
Keith's definitely making progress here.
Doubled rooks on the 7th, which is usually a good sign.
And he's gonna get his interesting. Oh, I don't think the opponent should allow that. 'Cause if rook f1, we'll just go rook a c2, I guess. Go behind this pawn. Rook e1.
Oh, e1. Is that a mouse slip? Or, no, he's just going to try and take the pawn off.
Yeah, that's interesting. Interesting, but quite risky. Crumballoonies, okay. Okay,
Could he even defend it with f6?
Indeed, there are many possibilities here. So, yeah, I mean, f6 is indeed one possibility to defend, and it's maybe just quite good, actually. I mean, it feels weird to weaken the second rank, but I don't think the second rank's an issue anymore because you know, your king will find safety on the third if it gets checked. So this could definitely be an idea. f6.
Kingstar, sorry for the music. That's my son playing the piano.
I mean, this is also possible. It's also not stupid because this knight's coming into h4 or something, and you know, obviously the white king is quite embarrassed here. I mean, I've even got knight g3, but then you could go rook e1. If you can go f6, I think you should go f6. Keith played knight f5. Okay, this was the other possibility. I do wonder about f6 though. I think that, yeah, this is also from a practical point of view. This is quite unpleasant for white. So, but yeah, Keith's behind on time, which is quite surprising. Normally quite a bit ahead.
Yeah, that's unusual for him. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You know, I mean, he's obviously having to fight hard to keep everything, to keep the attacks going.
Next chances are what? So to try and take this g pawn with the knight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering. Okay, now I think we go knight h4. But is the idea knight h4, rook b7, knight g2, rook e7?
Played h5 actually.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's going for like h4, knight g3, and checkmate on the back.
That's possible. That's possible. So if rook b7, he'll probably go knight g3, rook here, and then h4. That's also a decent plan. It's just this pawn can run maybe.
Yeah.
But then we start annoying the bishop here. Bishop f3. Not sure.
Kingstar, my son occasionally plays chess. He liked it when he was younger, and then he gave it up completely to play bridge, and now he's a very good bridge player. But then since lockdown, he doesn't like online bridge, so he's now not doing any games really so much.
Interesting. Diamonauts actually proving me wrong here. I just said draw by perpetual, but not so clear. Because he's played queen a3, and if we go b7, a Diamonaut will give an old checkaroonie and play a3.
Diamonaut. Ooh.
Chess and Club Singer.
Yeah.
Queen c8, a2. That would actually work. Yeah, I once at the end of a tournament in Wiesbaden in Germany, I once heard a recital by Mark Taimanov, the well, obviously world famous Grandmaster, and also reasonably world famous concert pianist. So that was very nice indeed. It's now there's quite a few musicians who are interested in chess. Prokofiev was the most famous example. Did you know that Prokofiev, so great Russian composer, 1920s, 30s, 40s, once played a chess match against David Oistrakh, who was one of the world's best violinists. They had an actual proper match at the, I think at the Moscow Chess Club, with proper time control, demonstration boards, everything. You know, they were so keen on chess. It's there we are. Mickey Adams has beaten Gunslinger.
He's won, yeah. And Diamonaut's just played an interesting move here as well.
I think this is Yeah, probably one of the games of the tournament, I think. We've had a few good ones.
Yeah.
One of the good ones, this one. Very impressive from Mickey. Drunken Naught against Diamonaut.
Diamonaut's managed to stop this pawn.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did that, but that's clever.
Oh, he was right. I was talking about that one. So Queen B1, I think Diamonaut will now go A3, B7, and A3, B7, and probably Queen F2 check and A2. And I was completely wrong. It's not a draw. It's a win for Diamonaut.
It's looking like it.
Amazing. Really good play. This really excellent play from Diamonaut. So very impressive indeed. Mark Hebden has won. So well played. Well
done, Hebs.
Well done, old boy. Have a quick look. Dandy-tastic against Amir Abba. This should be a draw. Knight and 2 versus Rook. So it's should be a draw, this one. Oh, Black's clock has been adjusted. Minus 25 minutes. That sounds a bit harsh. Unagi against Checkmate a lot. Ooh, very dangerous. Probably after Queen F6, we've got Knight D7. Just got to be a little bit careful, probably, with this counterplay. But I think at some stage, C2, it's going to be C2, B3 looks like the way to go. And then you just bring the knight back to D7 to cover stuff. So it's looking very good for Checkmate a lot, this one.
Gosh, well, he'll be pleased, won't he, with that?
He certainly will. He certainly will. He won't be complaining about that one. I'm a pickle, so yes, I'm a pickle. It's a Rook up against Dionysian, so looking quite good. Drunken Knight, Diamonaut. You're not going to be able to stop that one, I'm afraid. So, oh, wait a minute. Oh my goodness.
What?
Queen A6 now. Queen A6. I know that's right. A2, Queen B7, Queen A8, Queen B7. And that's going to be a win.
So A2, Queen A8.
Yeah, A2, Queen A8, Queen B7.
Queen B7. Very good.
Yeah, so amazing game, Diamond.
Well done, Diamond.
Very good tactics there. Okay, let's have a quick look at Keith here, because obviously that's kind of the one of the big ones here. So Knight H4 was played by Keith. C5 now, right. So what is happening here? Rook C2 from Keith. I'm just wondering, why didn't you take on G2? Why aren't we taking on G2? There's probably.
I guess we do it next.
Yeah, I was just wondering whether we could go Rook E7 here now. I don't know. I didn't think Keith needed this move H5. Our Drunken Knight has lost to Diamonaut with his Queen B7 tactic. So well played, Diamonaut. Hard luck. Okay, C6 has been played. Okay, but now we take on G2, don't we?
I would think so.
I mean, then I guess we're going Rook E7. I have a feeling I'm missing something obvious somehow with all my moves, but well, we'll just try and get over that feeling. Rook E7, but now we can just go. I mean, it feels like you could just go this move now, and then you just because of H4, I go check and Rook H2.
Yeah.
Or Rook C1. So I'm just wondering. No, we're not taking on G2. Why are we not taking on G2? What am I missing, Tash? I must be missing something.
What are we doing instead of that?
Well, Keith went Rook FD2, Rook F7, King H6, C7. Oh, this is embarrassing. It's really embarrassing because I'm
doing the same plan with knight in on G3, isn't he?
It's really embarrassing. I just don't
work.
I don't understand what's missing here. I mean, what might have been the case was C7 possible?
Yeah.
Well, it's a bit crazy because I was thinking that I had knight f4, but after c8 queen, I don't have my knight h3, rook h2 mate because
the queen's covering it. Yeah.
So I'm wondering whether c7 was the idea that
Keith's offered a draw.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to see here.
Wow, if he takes this, we've got a load of players all on the same points going into the last round.
Indeed, but I'm a bit worried that White's just going to play. Well, wait a minute.
It was a tough game, B22, C3 Sicilian. I was telling you to give up your B pawn, which you did, and it was a bad idea.
If we just go bishop b7, isn't this just really good for? Isn't this just really good for?
All right, bishop b7 now.
It's all a bit desperate. Maybe you go knight d6. Maybe that's what you do.
Knight d6 you do.
That works beautifully, in actual fact. So I'm just losing a piece there. So, well, no, not losing a piece, but it will just liquidate. So, how should I try and do this?
Hi, Tom Rendell.
I mean, I could
fine, or rook e takes f5, says Tom Rendell.
Yeah, that's the one I put on there. Yeah. Take this just looks to be winning for White.
He's played that. Yeah. Oh, he's declined the draw against Keith. Okay.
Yeah, Keith maybe just overdid it a bit there. I'm not sure, but it's amazing. This knight.
Are you queening?
Bishop b7 now.
Bishop b7.
You're too slow with everything. It's just not. Oh, checkmate lot as one. Well played, checkmate a lot. Look at those pawns in the final position.
On rook f6, yes. Oh, and then he's going something onto c6.
Oh, wait a minute. Rook f6 to c6.
He's going rook c6, isn't he?
Is that? I guess that's. I guess that's good.
Looks good.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Oh, Keith, hard luck pressing all the game, and then it just went. I'm sure I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
Just knight takes g2 was, at some stage. I'm not sure you needed h5. You could maybe have gone knight h4 before, but I'm just wondering maybe in this position we had c7, and yeah, this move c8 is going to be very annoying because the rook's on prise. And if we go rook fd2, then well, we still go c8, and then we can take on there. But that's not so clear because I go check and rook here, which can't possibly be
Yes, king h6, and then
here. This would be.
Oh, very good.
Sure Keith has something around that. I must be missing. I must be missing something. Some obvious tactic. I think. I guess, but I can't. I just can't see it. I'm just thinking. This looks like.
Oh no.
I mean, I'm even threatening rook c1. Which is in some lines. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't really know what was happening there. But oh yeah, sorry. No, sorry. That was what I'd seen before. Rook takes c8. We throw in a rook takes f7 check. King there, and then we go bishop g2. And if rook c1, we go rook f1. But okay, we could probably end up with rook and bishop versus rook, which I'm sure Keith could hold. But Keith has resigned.
Bishop e4 instead of c7.
Oh, sorry. Knight g2, bishop e4 here. Yeah.
Yes, Tom. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea as well. But I'm wondering. Yeah, that is a good idea. I mean, could I go here? Oh no, I'm gonna get caught by a tactic, aren't I?
Are you going knight h3?
Well, no, I want to go rook c2. hitting this pawn, and if c7, I wanted to go knight e6, but I'm getting hit by this one, unfortunately.
That's hard.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought this move. I mean, what we thought here was maybe after rook e5, maybe after rook f2, maybe f6 was a good move.
Yeah.
I think it might be true, to be honest. And then after here, I wanted to go knight h4 straight away, which I think might have been decent. But Keith played this move h5. I wonder whether he changed his mind, whether he thought that h4 knight g3 was strong and then decided that it wasn't strong. But very complicated game, but hard luck, Keith, after pressing all the time.
That bishop doing a good job, Pezza, throughout the game.
So let's have a look. This is dandy-tastic. Yeah, I mean, black could just force a draw with rook d4 here if he wants to. That would be fine. Rook d4, knight c5 takes, knight e6, king g6, and then king g5. Or probably by now, the white king's quite a lot. Oh no! He lost on time.
Oh, on time.
Oh, hard luck, Amir Abbas. I mean, some people might wonder, how can you lose on time like this? But I can tell you, I've played shogi.
I was thinking of shogi too.
Well, I can tell you exactly what happened to me. I think it's now twice. So you play shogi, and what you have every move, you have a minute increment. So it doesn't sound so bad, but when you do it for a while, that pressure of seeing the time go down is quite bad. And I've had a couple of times that I left it to the last 10 seconds, and then I was trying to move a piece, but my hand was shaking so much that I couldn't physically make the move, and I lost on time.
Yeah. I had it, and my mouse stopped working. It just didn't work normally, and then I lost on time. Also shogi. It's they're asking, should this be a draw?
Yes, yeah. Oh, what happened there? Oh, there we are. Whoops. So rook d4 here, rook here, check, king g6 here. Here's the draw. Is a draw. And I mean, I imagine that also king g6 here is not, this white king so far away. You get to f5. I mean, then black's got a chance of getting rook versus knight. So yeah, no, this is definitely a draw.
Okay, so just
I'm a pickle.
Going on. I'm a pickle, and that should be finished very shortly.
Indeed, that's going to be
You could just
a4,
a4, and just don't stalemate. That's the only thing you have to make sure.
Yeah. As Jan Gustafsson once remarked, the best rook and pawn endings are the ones where you're a rook up.
Indeed.
So, this is definitely one of those.
Hi, checkmate a lot. That looked all under control right from the start.
Lovely, yeah.
Hi, Walton.
That'll definitely go into the textbooks as an early queen sacrifice. Just having a look at the results here now, because basically, what have we got? We've got Gerasimos Giakos on 6.5.
So he's half a point clear of the field now.
Of the field, and we'll play either Michael or Bogdan tomorrow, who both have 6. Then there's Keith on 5.5, and then on 5 there's Paul Dargan, Jonathan Blackburn, Peter Finn, Edison Xu, Mohammed Ayan Ismail, Frederick the Mate. So they're on, and then on 4.5 we've got GM Mark Hebden, and then we've got a huge number of people on 4 points. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one tomorrow.
Yeah, it really is. Now we just final round coming up, and we don't know who is going to win the British Championship. So Gerasimos needs just a draw to be equal first. Will there be a playoff? The answer is yes, there is a playoff scheduled if it's a tie, which is due to happen, I think Sunday at 4 o'clock, if I remember right. So yeah. So that could be a very exciting extra round. But we'll have to see how tomorrow goes. Because if Gerasimos wins tomorrow, then he's going to be outright winner. And then there's numerous possibilities if he doesn't win.
Going to be a thrilling one. So just join us tomorrow to see what the final thrilling twist in the tale is.
Yeah, I'm actually tempted by Kingstar's idea of seeing if we can get an interview from some of the players. I'm gonna investigate and see if we can arrange that, but we will see how we do. And also, if there's a playoff, I think probably people might not, but we will see how we go. Anyway, thank you. Yes, so scheduled tomorrow. We are back on at Freddie Gordon interview. That would be good. Yeah, if Freddie Gordon's checkmates lot, you know Freddie Gordon. Do you want to? If you are in touch with him, if he would like to have an interview, we would very much like to have him on the show. Thanks Ocelot. So we're back on 7 o'clock tomorrow to cover the final round. It will be a thriller.
Indeed. See you there.
Thanks, everyone.